Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown has more than 20 years of life sciences experience. Prior to USDM Life Sciences, Kevin launched his career as a technology consultant. His passion for innovation, knowledge of enterprise technology, and entrepreneurial spirit have led his company, USDM Life Sciences, to become a leading digital solutions provider for regulated life sciences companies. Kevin's leadership and commitment to the life sciences industry have created a winning strategy that has resulted in USDM's Life Sciences becoming the trusted compliance partner for some of the leading technology providers in the world, which includes Google, Oracle, Salesforce, DocuSign, Box, and many more, who want to deliver trustworthy continuous compliance to their customers. In 2018, USDM was recognized as Box's Services Partner of the Year for Innovation. Well, good afternoon, Kevin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks for having me. Exciting.
Absolutely. I appreciate you making the time too, because again, traverse the globe, talk to many, many people, but it's always nice to be able to meet someone new, even if it's virtually on a podcast, just behind the mic sometimes is just as exciting as meeting somebody in person. So again, appreciate it. Appreciate you making the time and love to really just dive right into these questions, Kevin, because there's a lot of things that we share together as far as our career in that life sciences space. But let's just jump right in. Let's talk about your career a little bit in technology. You were a consultant, you were a senior executive. Now you're the CEO of USDM Life Sciences. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
It's a great question. And it's one that always coming back to. The USDM was started, we've been doing this for 22 years, was born out of this idea that life science companies, that they just have a lot to deal with in terms of regulations, audits, et cetera. And when it comes to really taking advantage of technology, information technology, let's say, they can be slower to feel comfortable doing that. We really recognize that a long time ago and just positioned USDM to really be some catalyst to bring together great technologies into life science companies to really drive their ability to innovate and life-saving technologies at the end of the day. What was it about back in the day? It was this opportunity to really connect these dots where it wasn't happening, right? Create the value, see the potential of amazing technology and how it could really impact these life science companies. And what they're trying to do is they're stuck in literally offices full of these massive 3-ring binders. When we started, there were the inventory card systems, like in the library when you used to go and find that paper card. That's how they were tracking inventory because that was safe, right? So we've been on this journey for a few decades now, really transforming how life science companies believe they can use technology to really drive their business faster. That's not the point. And I think, what I get excited about is the people that I work with every day. And really, it sounds a bit cliche, but it's true. When we see amazing people out of the laboratory environment or in supply chain, connecting with programmers doing crazy algorithms that are really, speeding the risk mitigation on these processes and on the manufacturing floor, or with getting insights into complaints or adverse events, and seeing the people really work together to achieve things that they never even imagined, breaking those boundaries, sitting on the edge. That to me is really keeps me going. And throughout the years, it's really always a different company, because as we continue to grow and evolve and are able to tackle new challenges with different people join, and we morph around that always with the eye on where the industry's going, where the regulations, what they're allowing, what the interpretations are, those gray areas, bringing it right into the business where being compliant, having a regulatory agency concerns on you, and really maximizing the productivity and value of the business, those aren't mutually exclusive. And that's our sweet spot. It really never ends.
Thank you, Kevin, for sharing. And you're right. We talk about a lot of really cool innovations and emerging technologies on this platform, this podcast, right? But at the end of the day, every guest I've had here talks about, the people as the center of it, the joy, the purpose. And that's what really makes whether you own a business or you run a business, that's what makes work really fun and people get engaged. So thank you for sharing that. Jumping into this next question, I know you and your team at USDM have created some innovative solutions for your clients across many areas in the life sciences space. Is there something you're particularly proud of? And maybe you could highlight that for our audience.
We have an offering called Cloud Assurance. And we started that probably 6 years ago. And what it does is we actually monitor and deal with the vendors that are in the cloud throughout their various release cycles. And we do a lot of different types of continual testing on their systems. And we bring that back to essentially even like a digital experience across all, whether it's Oracle or Viva or down to DocuSign or Box. Many of the leading technologies, we're continually monitoring this so that life science companies can easily use those technologies in their business in days or weeks, essentially. For so it's not, as much as it's much more financially effective. It really allows these organizations to move much faster and more nimbly through this. And what we see are the companies that we're working with more rapidly acquiring the technology that they need today, feeling confident that the risk will be mitigated at a price point that really works for them. And then they focus on getting that technology to work for their business. And, part of what we layer that on with is a lot of like real domain subject matter experts. So we're actually helping these organizations bring that technology right into how they're working. So it's fun, it's productive, and it's a checkbox. You just don't have to worry about that overall. That's really amazing too. And we work with organizations where they want us to deal with one system that might come in through a partnership. And then when they really understand what we're doing, they actually ask us, can you just manage all of our systems like this? And we literally turn it on and they're off and going, and it's smooth and clean and effective. Another offering that we're really excited about and doing lots of great stuff with is Process X. And Process X sits on the ServiceNow platform. And ServiceNow is a technology that many life science companies already have, but they haven't felt comfortable using it around regulated business processes. With Process X, it essentially bolts on, and with all of this cloud assurance-based continual compliance, and then the features and functions that one needs to really make sure that those processes are working effectively in the given domains, whether it's the lab, manufacturing, all over the organizations, really. It's fast, and it really moves in these processes that organizations haven't even considered. Again, we're really attacking paper here and moving it out and then replacing it with automation, efficiency, artificial intelligence actually helping move that process along. And again, it's also, along with having an immense power for regulatory risk mitigation, it's really financially quite effective for these organizations too. They're saving a ton.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. And, that helps our audience better understand what you do in some of the services and some of the things that you're doing to help your clientele. Next question here. I want to talk a little bit. Maybe you can share with us about the main trends that are going to shape the life sciences industry this year. And maybe are there any emerging technologies that you see propelling your sector forward?
Brian, there's a few and we're deep into it. One that we're having a real good time with right now is augmented reality. And it's, again, when you think about someone wearing glasses in a manufacturing floor, and they can actually see on a piece of equipment, they can understand the maintenance status, what it's running at, if there's any issues at all, bottlenecks, where it is this moving around the manufacturing floor, hugely powerful. Or if there's a service issue, the service technician can see what the individual is seeing and help walk them through what they need to do to figure that out. This is very powerful. But if you think about, again, from the regulated life science company's perspective, all of that has to work so that there's confidence in the maintenance, the safety that manufacturing process everything's working, that if you're supposed to see something red, it's actually red, and we can trust that technology. That's where the compliance and the technology come together, and building that case for trust and integrity in everything that we're doing there. Internet of Things is also quite big, as we're allowing, whether it's a lab instrument or some manufacturing piece of equipment, to literally bring that data not into what might have been a server or something on that shop floor or close to it in the facility, but right up into the cloud, where all this data can be looked at, understood, analyzed, and really drive a lot of efficiencies. A big area, and when we look at this in the public cloud, is really getting the level of comfort for using a public cloud like Google or Amazon or Microsoft around data, around regulated business processes. So we're doing a lot of work with that, moving those workloads over to the public cloud with confidence and trust, so that anything's possible really with that. And those are a few areas. You look at artificial intelligence and machine learning, making decisions or recommendations that maybe someone once made. How does that work? And then, of course, there's ChatGPT and all of that amazing stuff. And we're really very interested in how that's going to feed into the life sciences area with trust and confidence that saying and doing the right thing. So these are all really exciting areas right now that we're very active in understanding to translate that into, between the technology and the life sciences regulated domain.
Awesome. Thank you again, Kevin. I appreciate that. And we do like to touch on what type of technology either you're leveraging or what type of emerging technology might be influencing your industry. So believe me, we have a lot of folks on the audience that would like to hear from folks that are in this space and or leveraging it anyway. Kevin, last question for you this evening. Can you share something from your career experience that might be helpful for those looking to grow their career in either tech or entrepreneurship?
Again, it's a part of me, the belief in what's possible, even though it's not readily apparent. There's so much change and movement. There's so many distractions that move along, more and more every year with everything that's available to us. So much of the success is about having that focus and having that conviction, surrounding oneself with the right people and not doubting it, like really going for it, listening to the market, listening to the customer, listening to your colleagues, listening to your heart, and use that power and energy to persevere. And the challenges are there to be overcome, and it really makes it fun.
Thank you for sharing, Kevin. I do appreciate that. At the crux of this particular podcast, we get into a lot of really cool tech and different innovation. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the people, and I hear it every day. And so I do appreciate your share and your perspective on what you do on a daily basis. So thank you. And Kevin, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thanks, Brian. Really appreciate the chance to connect.
Bye for now.